Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanmanjari for the students of Standard 9, in which we are learning the subject of English. Students, from today onwards we are going to start with a new topic in the writing section, which is a very important topic as far as scoring easy marks are concerned. It is email writing. Yes, so writing section, we have already done lots of work in writing section. We have learned letter writing, informal, formal, then we have learned notice writing, then we have learned diary writing. So we have learned different types of writing in which you express yourself very fluidly, very fluently on the given topic. That means here not only the imagination is at work, but also it is a test of the knowledge that you have. It is also the test of basically and mainly the language in which you are writing these parts, that is letter writing, notice writing, diary writing, how efficiently you are using the knowledge of the language that you have, right? So how efficiently you are putting forward your views, your viewpoints, your thoughts, your thought process, all of that in a proper style, in a proper manner. The vast vocabulary that you have gained in all these years, that is, all these writings, that's a showcase of what you know, right? So email writing nowadays very important. In the earlier days, we must have a computer, that means monitor, CPU, keyboard, mouse, and an internet connection if we wanted to write an email. And then emails, they're usually free, right? So uh, we must have the internet connection so that we can very quickly, in a fraction of seconds, we can send a mail and that can be received on the other end very quickly, very fast pace, and instantly. That's a very good way of communication, because lots can be communicated. Email can be lengthy, so whatever you want to say you can write over there. There is no prescribed length for impersonal emails, descriptive essays that we are writing. Yes, they have certain lengths, measured lengths for students. Same way, when we are just learning, right, as a part of English language, we are learning still, right? So we have a prescribed length of the email. Otherwise, as we have seen, lots of emails that you receive, your parents might be receiving, they might be quite lengthy, consisting of long number of pages, or lots of attachment will be with their PDF images, or some video will be there. So you can do a lot in nowadays, right? But earlier we used to do it in a very off the record manner, right? Like we got to have a computer monitor and all that, and an internet connection, so that we can set. But nowadays things have changed. Nowadays it's also included, emails are included in our mobiles, right? So we just have to set up the email account, and whenever an email comes, automatically a notification comes to you. You can read whatever the person has sent within fraction of seconds. You come to, so this is a very good communication method, and that has developed in this era of science and technology. So in today's time, email has a lot of importance, right? Especially when you want to do informal communication or a formal communication. Yes, it's the same thing that we learned in the letter writing, formal letter writing, informal letter writing, right? So basically today what we are going to focus on is the informal method of writing an email. The only difference between a letter is pen and paper, whereas email is completely an electronic mail, right, which you type in and then you send it with via the internet, right? So not only that, the format also changes, right? So we are going to basically learn the format, the styles that we should use, what things to take care of, what should be there, what should not be there. So the do's and don'ts and all that we are going to learn in this lecture. Emails, also known as, what is the full form of email? Electronic mail. That is the full form of email. In short, because it is electronic, that is why we shorten it and we write E, right? So, email. What is email? Email, also known as electronic mail, is a method of exchanging digital messages across internet or other computer networks, and it is the quickest way to communicate in writing. Whatever you want to express, that you can write, yes, immediately, and can send it immediately, and can be received by the other person immediately. So it's a very efficient method of communicating nowadays, and it is it's used regularly in day-to-day basis, yes, for a very efficient communication. So it is a method of exchanging digital messages across internet and the computer devices, networks, right? And it's the quickest way for communicating in writing. Email messages consist of two major sections. Emails, they consist of two major sections. Because it is electronic, because it is about computer, that is why there will be two parts in email. Yes, if you open your Gmail account, it's very clear to you. Yes, you have to first write two, because when you send, your email address will be automatically attached with the message, right? So you don't have to write from. So in Gmail or any other service provider, yes, you'll always find mail providers, you will always find starting with two, right? So because each and every electronic mail has a proper address, right? So that is that email ID that you have. Same way, the opposite person to whom you want to send email also should have an email ID. That becomes the address, electronic address for it, right? So to whomsoever you want to send it, the complete address in its proper format should be there, and it should be correct, otherwise the email won't reach. Yes, same thing we do in addresses, in letters. Yes, instead of Kolkata you write Abu Dhabi, then the letter will never reach. It might go to Abu Dhabi, but then that address belongs to Kolkata, it does not belong to Abu Dhabi, so it will get written from there. It will get written to you if you have written your email address, if you have written your address over it, right? So here also no mistake should be made in the proper format designated as ID. So you'll have two, then you will have CC, BCC. Yes, you want to send lots of copies to lots of person. Now that doesn't happen in letter writing. This makes email more special than letter writing. Yes, suppose I want to send the same greeting card, yes, the same greeting message or some good message to everyone, then I just have to add the email IDs of all people in CC. Then what will happen is, when you click send, that same message will be sent to 50 different people at the same time. That you cannot do in letter. Letter you must make 50 copies, then you have to put it in 50 different envelopes, and all the 50 envelopes you have to write each and every address of the individual, and then go and post it in the post office or the courier. That's a quite tedious job, right? Rather than that, email, it's quite efficient. All the 50 addresses you write at one place and you click send, the same thing will be sent to 50 different people at the same time. So that is CC. BCC, blind carbon copy, we are going to learn that, right? Then the subject, everything comes in the first section. In the second section, you just have to write the content only. So address essentials in the first one, and the content part in the second. Yes, that is how the email is divided into, right? But for our concern, we will have it all in the same manner, right? we'll learn what's the proper format for writing the email. Message consists of two major sections. First one is header, consisting of subject, sender, receiver, date, time. Now, why date and time? Date and time, if you actually open the Gmail or any service provider, you will not find date and time written over there, because your email ID, today's date, today's time, along with not only hour, minute, second, microsecond also, all of that will be automatically dispatched along with the mail. So in actual email, you don't have to write from, you don't have to write date, all these things you don't have to. But we are here learning for academic purpose, and that is why all those essentials will be there. So from will also be there, to is automatically there, CCBCC is there, date has to be mentioned by us because we are learning, right? And we also have to write the subject. So all that essential is that first part. Second part is the body, which is having the content or the message, right? It can contain formal, informal language depending on the purpose. As you see from the emails, just like letter can be of two types. Either it can be formal, it can be informal, right? So the content part will contain the question, basically, because a question has been asked to us, we have to make an email out of it. So the question becomes the content. Whatever is asked in the question, we answer that in the content. Depending upon the question, it can be formal, it can be informal. Now, how is it written? How is an email written? It is generally written in a formal tone. Yes, you don't write that in the formal email, you write in a formal tone. In an informal email, you write in an informal way, just like we write the letter. Now, the main similarity over here is जो हमारा लेटर का क्वेश्चन है, सेम वे ईमेल का क्वेश्चन है, both remains the same as far as content part is concerned. Yes, it should have an introduction paragraph, it should have a lengthy second paragraph which answers the question, and a third small, either you make a conclusion or you say the parting lines, or whatever extra you want to say, you can say it in the third paragraph, you give a parting line, and then you sign off. Right? So letter and email, formal or informal, that is formal letter, informal letter, formal email, informal email, content part will remain the same. That means only the upper part will change. Otherwise, जो आपका word limit है, ये सब कुछ सही रहेगा जैसे letter का होता है. So in this way, we have lots of similarities between a letter and an email as far as academic purpose is concerned. That means for study purpose, we are students, we are studying, and for that we have to religiously follow the rules and regulations so that we get the full marks. The language used is simple, formal, not flowery. Now, this is about the formal emails. Yes, in formal emails, suppose you are writing to the commissioner of the police or to any government department or official of the government, you don't have to use flowery language. Yes, you don't have to say, sir, aap to mahan insan ho, you are a very great person and it is in your hands and you can really do it. Now, that person can do it, right? He knows his limitation. Just because you are putting out some flowery language, he's not going to do the work for you. Right? Because it is not in his powers, it is not in his hands. So we are not going to use, if you are writing a formal email, then we are not going to use flowery language. But at the same time, when we are writing to our friends and family, we flatter them, we use flattery, we use informal language, we use lots of flowery language also. Yes, I saw your photographs during that wedding ceremony that you attended, and you looked beautiful, or you looked very handsome in that dhoti kurta or that sari. We can use flowery language in an informal email. Yes, but as far as formal emails are concerned, you don't use flowering or decorative language, that is to say, right? So we just use simple and formal for formal emails, and we can use our own informal language whenever you are writing an informal email. They are put up on display boards in schools or at public places. Now, if an important message has arrived, suppose from the state government to the school, Now, the school will take a printout of that email and it will be displayed on the notice board that the school or the state government has taken notice of the work done by the school or the work done by the students of the schools and decided to award them or decided to honor them or decided to call them to the state capital and honor them. So this way, such good, very good emails that come from higher authorities can be displayed on the board. Some of the rules and regulations for the school, say suppose they are important for the students to be aware of, to know them, then they can be displayed on the board because it has been taken from the government of Gujarat, or the education board has given some directives or some functionalities of the school in which the school and the students have to be aware of that, then that has to be displayed on the notice board. So the language has to be very simple. The language needs to sound official, so that way if you are making a formal email, then you need to be simple, you need to be very formal, and the language used should be looking quite official, right? So we should take care when we are doing that for formal email. But for informal language, informal email, the language that we use is informal, as because we are writing to our near and dear people, or we are writing to our family or our friends. So the language should not be formal over there, it should be informal, just an easygoing language that we use at home. The same thing we write in letter, the same thing we write in email. Okay. Now, meaning of CC and BCC before coming to the format. Before doing, then you should know what this means. CC means carbon copy. That means if you want to send the same email to a number of people at the same time, then you write all the emails ID in CC, that is carbon copy, so that that same copy reaches them. So add address it to it if these people need to know about the subject but they are not required to act on the content, or we want to just acknowledge them, or we just want to tell them that this is going to happen. Yes, for example, your timetable has changed and your parents need to know, right? So they don't have to take action. Do they have to take action? No, they just have to inform you that your timing has changed or your timetable has changed, right? They don't need to do any action. You need to do the action. So email IDs of 50 parents will be included in CC, that is carbon copy, and then the message will be sent. So all the 50 get the same message and they are informed immediately. So that is CC. BCC. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. Blind carbon copy. For example, the teacher sends email to 50 students. Then in BCC, he will also send a copy to the principal. But the other people should not know. The other 50 people should not know that the same message has been also passed to the principal, because the principal needs to know what the teacher is doing or what the teacher has done. So in order to keep the principal informed about whatever the teacher is doing, he will also send a copy to him. But other people, the other 50 parents, do not know about that. So those people to whom you want to inform, but you do not want the rest of them to know that this person has been informed, that that address has to be written in BCC, that is blind carbon copy. People in this field are concealed from other recipients, that means hidden. They don't know. In the 2 or CC or the BCC fields, they can see others in 2 and CC, but not the PC. Now, the principal, he receives the copy of that. He receives the email. He can see to whom it is addressed. Other 50 people's name also he can see. But those 51 people, 1 in 2 and other 50 in CC, those 51 people will not be able to know that the principal also has received the same copy. That is the meaning of BCC. Usually for academic purpose, we do not write anything in CC or BCC unless the question asks us. Question में अगर लिखा है कि उसके साथ साथ में regional manager को भी, right? You are writing to the dealer, but you also inform the regional manager without allowing the dealer to know about it. Then you write the regional emails, regional manager's email ID in BCC so that he gets a copy, but the dealer does not know that the customer has always also forwarded a copy to the regional manager. If the question asks that, then you got to write that in BCC. Now, if the question says that along with writing the email to the dealer, also inform the regional manager, then you write in CC, because two can see CC कि किस किस को भेजा है, right? He can see, so the dealer will also know that the regional manager को भी इस केस के बारे में पता है, right? So that is CC and BCC. If it is in the question, then only we will write in CC BCC, otherwise we will keep it blank. Essentials of email, first thing is subject. जैसे फॉर्मल लेटर में सब्जेक्ट होता है, लेकिन इनफॉर्मल लेटर में सब्जेक्ट नहीं होता. That's clear, right? But in email, that thing changes. Whether it is a formal email, whether that is an informal email, subject will be there and we will be writing the subject, right? Subject must be short and sweet. ज़्यादा ज़्यादा 3-4 words. It should be telling what the content is. उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं. You don't write 2.5 paragraph over there in subject. Just write 2.5 word, 3 word, 4 word. That's the maximum. Yes, it should be telling the reader or the recipient of the email what that email is about. Suppose you are writing to the bank. Then the subject says non-receipt of money or non-encashment of check or stop check, whatever the subject is, so that when the manager reads the subject, he comes to know that the content of the email is about stopping a check, payment of a check, or the person is asking for say the account history, or he wants the account details, right? So that should be in the subject, short and sweet. Then it should give a clue to the content of the message, that is the subject. It need not be a complete sentence. It is not required in the subject to write a complete sentence. Yes, you just write essentials, 3 or 4 words, so that the recipient of the email comes to know what is in the content of the email. Next, salutation. Usually in emails, do not write respected sir unless it is an authority. For all of them rest, even if we are writing to a bank manager, even if we are writing to our own uncle or a niece or cousin or mama, mommy, whatever that is, we all write dear. Then either it will be the name, that is dear uncle, dear didi, or dear cousin, whatever, or dear madam and sir. Even if that is the bank manager, that is the standard of email, right? You don't write everywhere respected just like we write the writer. If the position of authority is quite high level, then we do write respected, right? For example, if we are writing to the principal of the school, college, if we are writing to the head of the police department, then we write, because that is an authority. That is why we will write respected. Otherwise, it will be dear sir, oblique, madam, or directly the name. Yes, dear Manjipai, Danjipai, whatever, right? So in that way, we start with dear sir or the first name of the person, dear Mahesh, if it is a friend. Yes, opening statement, hello, how are you, that you used to write in the letter. So here also you need to write the opening statement, right? That is the first paragraph. Then we come to the first paragraph. What is that first paragraph? Begin with a pleasantry or a greeting. That is always true. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you are writing, you can do that also. Plus, hello, how are you? We are talking about informal. This lecture particularly is for the informal email writing, right? So we'll discuss about informal email writing. When we come to formal, at that time we'll discuss about formal. So begin with a pleasantry or a greeting. Hello, good morning, how are you? Yes, I am fine over here. Yes, I was a little bit worried when I got the message. Some formal type of greeting should be there. when replying a message, especially now you got someone's email and now you have to reply. Yes, your uncle he is asking you, yes, long time no see, no call, no letter. Yes, how are you? How is the family? You need to reply. So now what you are doing is actually you are replying to a mail which you received, right? So while I received your mail yesterday but did not have time to see. Yes, you know I am quite busy. Yes, yeah, yeah, all that, whatever. While replying a message, thank you for your message. I received your message. Clarity and tone should be there, right? So that is the next point actually. So when you receive a message and you have to reply, so change your words accordingly. Yes, the first introductory paragraph should be, I received your mail last night, but I saw it today morning, and immediately I remembered that for quite a long time we have not communicated, so I sit down to write. So that is just an introduction. That what you referred as, I received your mail, or thank you for your or thank you for your greetings, or thank you for your compliments. Yes, you told him that I stood first in the class, then he congratulated you, then you need to say thank you. So that is it. Whatever reply you need to give, clarity and tone should be maintained. Yes, we are talking about informal language. You're writing to your uncle, right? So that love, affection, attachment, bonding, you should not become a different person when you are writing an email. Yes, एकदम aware, sincere, serious नहीं हो जाना है. You just be yourself, so that clarity and tone is maintained. Yes, so you don't become another person when you are writing an email. Yes, he's not going to take your mail and go to the court and sue you, right? So it's not going to happen that way. So maintain yourself, especially we are talking about informal email, then maintain yourself the way you are. Yes, don't try to become too much serious while writing an email. Yes, don't think of some very formal language while using. Yes, so when your uncle reads your mail, he will think, जैसा बोलता है वैसा तो है नहीं, ये तो कुछ अलग दिखता है. That should not be the case. When he receives your mail, he automatically has in mind you, your picture. And that same language should be used so that he, हाँ, ये मेरा भतीजा है. Yes, he is no different. Yes, he is the same small one, beautiful one, right? So he is going to have a picture of you in mind. So don't change yourself. Many people do that, right? When they write a letter or when they write an email, they become a different person, right? So that should not happen. You should stick to the clarity and tone that you have. When you expect a reply, please let me know. Now, you have written your uncle, yes, कि मुझे एक motorcycle खरीद के दो, right? So now you want a reply. So then write over there, please answer me in yes or no, whether you are going to buy me a motorcycle or whether I should continue pursuing my father, right? So that you should mention if it is necessary for you to reply, to get a reply. So when you expect a reply, please write to me as soon as possible, or please call me, or please email me as soon as possible, as soon as the work is done, right? So write the question cells, don't miss it out. When you want to help, then of course yes, जैसे help चाहिए तो automatically please, kindly, you have to use some flowery language over there, right? So decorative language, butter polish, you need to do something, flattery is needed, so you do that. Yes, whenever you are requesting something, it's true for informal language email as well as formal email. Now, essentials of email continued paragraphs. We'd already talked about the first paragraph. Yes, now, usually it is that when an idea changes, you change the paragraph. Now, we in letter writing, informal letter writing, we saw that we had 3 paragraphs. One is the introductory paragraph. In second, it is quite large and it contains the questions, answer, and the third one is a summary or a conclusion to it, right? So the same thing happens in email, right? Paragraphs. Each main idea should be expressed in separate paragraph. Use complete sentences. Do not use SMS language. Yes? Now, what is SMS language? Yes? School will open on Tuesday. This is what I have written. Yes, it can be SCHL, right? So this is SMS language. In short, you write, and the other person, he understands what is written over here. That's not a question. Yes, school will OPN. We missed E over here. Same way, IL we missed over here on Tuesday, right? So we didn't write the full name Tuesday. Do not do this. This is not done in email, because just it's an electronic mail. Don't stick to the short forms, because short forms may be confusing. One short form that you make on your own may not be a standard and may not be understood in the same way by the other person who is receiving your email. Yes, he might take that short form as something else, or that SMS language. If he is not aware of that, then there might be a problem. And we are students and we need to score marks, so it is very, very essential for us not to slip to the SMS language, right? So each paragraph must and should have a proper separate paragraph, and use of complete sentences is more preferable. Use of SMS language is totally banned, prohibited. It is not for you as far as academics are concerned. As far as scoring marks are concerned, you use SMS language, short forms of words, it will lead to cutting down of marks, deduction of marks, and you will not get full marks. Next, at each and every end of the email, there should be a complimentary clause. Complimentary clause, you did opening salutation, right? Dear sir, madam. Then at the end, you write yours sincerely, right? Same way, dear uncle, then you're loving. So complimentary clause should be there, and name should be written. Now, why are we writing name? Because we are writing from also. Yes? So, for example, your name is Yogesh, then your name is Yogesh, right? But your email address is not showing your name. It will show Vaisha underscore 489 at the rate yahoo.com. It doesn't say your name. That is why at the end of the mail you should write your name. Yes, because it is electronic, right? So there is no signing. There is no electronic signature written done over here. So you should write your name. If the name is not provided, if the name is not provided, then we will use imaginary name. Any name you can think and write over there. Please do not use yours loving, XYZ. No, this is completely wrong. This is true, but this is not wrong. So this is wrong, right? Instead of this, you should write complete name. Yes, if you don't write your surname, that's okay, but name should be there, right? Because throughout the email, there is no reference of any name. Yes, dear uncle, I am Rehan. You will have to write that in the first paragraph, because from if he looks at 2, he does not recognize your name. Yes, and it becomes impossible when you have some 100, 200 email IDs with you. Yes, you communicate on a regular basis and you have lots of email IDs to work with, then you perhaps might not remember what is that Arsha, right? So you should write your name instead of just signing off with XYZ. Now, this is the format. Yes, this is how it should look. Actually, it is this, right? So this is how your email should look like. From should be at the top, then comes to, then comes CC, then comes BCC, then comes date, and then comes the subject. This is clear? Now, this is about the format of what to write. It should be in this format. For example, from, to, CC, BCC, they are all email IDs. They are all email ID. What is the standard format of email ID? Please note it down. It is ABC. ABC stands for whatever you are, you make your ID. That is called we just had an example. ABC at the rate. This is called at the rate gmail.com. This is an email ID, right? So what is the format actually over here? ABC means any ID that you choose. At the rate is who or which is your mail provider. So it will be a dash. .com is necessary. Nowadays it can be .org, .in, whatever. Yes. So depending upon. So this is necessary. This is called the format of an ID. It should be in this. Yes. At the rate, before that, your proper email ID should be there. At the rate tells the separation of the name ID and the provider. Dot also separates which type of, yes, com, org, in. This way it separates things. So at the rate, dot, these are the separators that are used. This separates the ID from the provider and via which route it's going. Yes, .com had .org, right? So this way, this is called the format of email ID, right? It should be in that way. Instead of Gmail, it can be yahoo.com, it can be hotmail.com, yes, or it can be government wala, then .org, right? If it is in India, then .in, .org.in, right? So in that way, there can be lots of providers. Jitna provider change hota rahega, jitna, then separators will keep on increasing. Yes, we don't have to worry about this one. This is a simple one. From your, it should not be your name over here. Yes, Rehan Shah. It should not be like this. It should be whatever the Rehan at the rate gmail.com, right? So it should be in this manner. If your ID is everything in short, Rehan at the rate gmail.com. ABC at the rate dash.com, उसमें क्या आना चाहिए, उसमें ये आना चाहिए, right? So think about whenever you are writing an email, first think मैं अपना नाम क्या रखूँगा, right? Whatever. You are not supposed to use your real name. Yes, you can at the same time use, it is Rehan Shah, so R Shah 123 at the rate yahoo.com. Right? So that is to be done in from. To is the person to whom you are addressing. He will also have similar email ID. Yes, this is the format. XYZ only tells that ABC and XYZ. This says it is from, this one says it is to, right? But whereas when we are writing an email, it should be like this. Rehan at gmail.com to Arsha, suppose it's another person, Arsha 123 at yahoo.com. CC, if you want to say, now here we are talking about informal, then we don't have to write to anybody else. We are just writing to our uncle. There is nobody else to whom we are going to send a copy. So CC will remain black. That means CC will write, we'll make a colon, but we will not write anything over here. It will be blank. BCC, if it is there, then okay. Otherwise, BCC likhna hai, colon karna hai, keep this blank. right? You don't write anything over there. Then comes date. We know in actual mail, date is attached along with your message, right? But here we are doing for academic purpose, so it is necessary for us to score marks, and to score marks, date should be there. We already know date लिखना है, colon करना है, आगे date लिखना है. What is the format that I have written? 24th July, comma 2020. That is the standard format. Then again write subject, colon, whatever the subject is, in 3, 4, 5 words, completed. Don't try to make a complete sentence out of it. Yes, after subject, opening salutation. What is opening salutation? Dear aunt. Yes, opening salutation. The content will be para 1, para 2, para 3. Closing salutation, yours lovingly. Then write name. Without name, if you don't write name, we are going to cut marks, right? Name should be there. So this is how it should be written, the complete one, right? Now we already saw this. Just you can note it down in your Fairbook. I hope people, you are sitting with your Fairbooks and you have written lots of things that are quite necessary for email writing, right? On the whole, your email should look something like this. Yes, from, if you do have time, if you want to decorate, I don't say you should do it, but if you can make box and then write in a box, then that is, it looks good, decorative, right? So it's okay. If you want to make a box, that's okay. From abc at the rate dash.com to xyz at the rate dash.com, same way, cc, same thing, bcc, same thing, date, write in proper format, subject, right? This part tells you that content you have to write. This is just to show you that these are the two bigger divisions of the email. First is all the essential details and then the content. So students, we conclude our today's lecture over here. Thank you, students.